name is Charly Hendricks.
He hates her. He wants her off the island.
One of those people down there is the killer.
Hello, and welcome to Series 4 of Jam Presents, a podcast series by me, Mike Groves, and a good mate of mine, Jason Cripps. We're here to investigate the murder of Charly Hendricks alongside Channel 4's new murder mystery reality TV show, Murder Island. We've got a lot to talk about. I've got a lot of preamble that I want to run by you because there's a lot that we need to mention
ramble
for new listeners and also existing listeners. But give me a 1 or 2 word summary before we get into it, just to say, because I want to see how it unfolds, in that you tell me what you thought of it, and then by the end of it I will be able to say, yeah, okay, I agree with your 1 or 2 word summary, because I've got mine in my head. I've written it down and it was the last thing I wrote. I was like, that's how I felt about it.
Oh, that's how you put me on the spot.
Yeah, I've had like the last 20 minutes to think about this, to be honest. Although don't take too long thinking about it, because this is like void space that I have to edit down, and I haven't got that long to edit because we're doing it pretty much live.
Just put a tumbleweed sound
with the bell.
effect in.
Ding.
Yeah.
Ding. I haven't got sound effects.
I don't know. I'm so conflicted. Conflicted. There's my word.
That's a good word. That's a good word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. I like it. Do you want to know mine or not? Should we just skip that and go?
No, go on, what's your word then? It's not my word. You can't have the same as my word.
Yeah, it's conflicted.
Snap.
Oh, snap's your word. You want to change it? You can tell we've not done this for a long time because we're just rambling. Okay, my word, and the reason I said you can have a word or two because mine's like hyphenated, half-baked.
What, they're all stoned?
Yeah, no, I just watched Bake Off instead. I completely like
420.
That's a drugs-related joke for those who don't know, that are innocent or listening with their children. For goodness sakes, Jason.
Come on then. What are we doing? What do you want to do? Because you know, and it's always the same, that you've gone through this chronologically and have all the good information.
And you've gone, oh, he was holding his snooker cue with his left hand. I think it was actually in his right, but...
Yeah. He's playing snooker with the pool cue. Killer.
Killer pool.
Come on then.
So look, I'd written a bit of preamble before we had this episode, or before this episode aired, purely because I knew that there were things that we needed to address. So in no particular order, more how they just spilled out of my head when I was writing it, we need to address that we normally spend hours, even days, watching and writing up notes on 20-year-old TV shows.
You do?
And yeah, I do.
I write like 4 sentences on my phone. And
then yeah, I've lost my flow already. But we then spend hours discussing it and trimming it down into like a 40-minute podcast. This is obviously significantly different. We've just come off the back of watching Murder Island. It only aired, 10 minutes ago. It finished airing. And here we are recording. We'll have very little time to edit too, in that I'm aiming to get this out tonight. I know it's a big challenge, but I really want to. Mainly because I hate listening to myself over and over and over again, and that's all I end up doing if I edit it to perfection. So as long as the sound is coming through
Big
okay.
Ed. Perfection. Come on.
That's a good word, actually. That's
Not for showing.
People listening, this is perfect. No, this is far from perfect. The notes you mentioned about making notes, I usually make around 3,000 words of notes per episode. Tonight, I've got a few pages in a notebook. So the format's going to be slightly different, and there will be a few more ums and ers, and probably quite a few more swear words, which, we could apologise for, but there's bad language.
Fuck it.
Well, yeah, it's after the watershed, so tough shit. We ought to mention to our die-hard fans, of which there's at least one, hello mum, if you're listening, which she probably is at this time, to be fair, so we might be down to 0. We did have a different idea for Series 4. but we've been crying out for a show similar to The Murder Game and Murder in Small Town X for so long that we felt that we needed to just jump in and do this. So we will eventually bring out the real Series 4, but that's for another time when we get round to recording it, because this has just come and steamrolled our entire schedule for the rest of the year, really. On that note, this show is particularly important to us as it's the one that we applied for and didn't get chosen. So
it's not that we didn't get chosen. We didn't even get a rejection letter.
I mean, they did say that they had thousands of applicants and not everybody's going to hear. So maybe we were too good. We were too good.
That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, they're waiting until they've perfected it. Like season 4. See, this isn't getting a season 4. Let's be honest.
How many islands are there? I mean, I did initially think, like, you know, it's called Murder Island. Like, what did she expect?
Yeah, John, you somewhat deserved it.
Yeah. She's on the ferry. Oh, where you go? Oh, just Murder Island. You want to be careful there, love. Oh, why is that? No reason.
It's like the Dead Sea. If you're going to swim in that, then you're taking your chances, right? Although I don't actually think that you die in the Dead Sea. Well, some people probably have. Anyway, if we do come across as a bit bitter as to not being chosen, then, you know, we probably are.
I definitely am.
Especially seeing some of the contestants. You think, come on.
Oh, man, I panicked. I'm not going to lie, I panicked. Because I saw those two blokes, I thought, if their names are Mike and Jason, it's going straight off. It's going straight off now.
Can you imagine? Or they'd have said, yeah, we're into this because we do murder mystery reality TV podcasts and we've got like thousands of subscribers.
Yeah.
What the fuck? So one more thing before we get onto the show itself. For those of you who are tuning in to Jam Presents for the first time, firstly, welcome along. We've already made podcasts based on similar shows as Murder Island that date back as far as 2001. So if you are interested or you like what you hear today, then please go back and play along with the Killer's Game in those particular podcasts. Our Twitter contains all of the original broadcasts of Murder in Small Town X, The Murder Game, and Who Done It. You'll find us on there. We're at Jam Presents. Little plug here. We're at Jam Presents. No, we're not. We're at Presents Jam because Jam Presents was taken. So yeah, scrub what I said before. We are at Presents Jam.
Cut.
Oh, there won't be any cuts. I'm not doing it. This is just going on raw.
Oh, God.
So good luck, Jace. Anyway, look, on with the show. I mean, first of all, the premise. So what we can ascertain from reading the press pack, from watching the first episode, Charly Hendricks, I think her name is, she has returned to the island from being off it for several years. Whether or not she grew up there or used to just visit quite a lot, I don't know if that was made clear. But anyway, she's gone back. After about 6 weeks of being back on the island, she gets murdered, essentially. She's renting a place called the Manse. So if we refer to that, that's the place that she was found in her living room. That's the pub owner's place. So she rents that off the landlord of the pub. I think his name was Tony Slade or something like that.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
And similar premise to all the other ones that we've done, whereas everybody in the village is a suspect. And these investigators, there are 4 teams of pairs. I mean, let's face it, the people that are listening to this have seen this with us now, so I don't think there are many people that are going to be listening, unless you're Ben Stallard. Actually, special shout out to Stally, our friend who drives along with podcasts on but doesn't watch the show. So he'll message us and he'll say, I think this person's the killer, but he doesn't even know what they look like or what they, how they appear on screen or anything. It's fantastic. But maybe that's testament to us in how we come across in this podcast. I don't know. So we won't go into it in too much detail, but yeah, the idea is that these 4 couples or 4 pairs of people will be investigating over the next 6 weeks, which in reality, I think it's every 2 days they get voted off, or not even voted off, is it? They get chosen by Palm, the lead investigator, who's got 2 sidekicks, Simon, and I think it's Graham something, but he's actually called Macca in the press release. So we're calling him Simon and Macca from now on.
Is that when his nickname's like, he just adopts his nickname more than his real name?
Yeah, he's probably like, no, put Macca in there. We don't call
Yeah.
you that in the show, mate. Yeah, but I really like being called Macca.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So no one's ever called you that. Ian.
What stood out to me when we were introduced to these guys as well, so that we meet the contestants, and we'll talk about the contestants shortly, and that's something I'd edit out normally. Can't even speak properly at the moment. It's just the nerves getting to me.
It's just a no edit run.
A complete no edit run. We're going to try it. We're going to see how it comes across. If it's awful, then look, we apologise.
You watch next week, there'll be cuts everywhere.
Yeah. Next week it'll be about 20 minutes as opposed to this, which feels already like it's going to last 2 hours. No, you can't have a podcast that lasts longer than the episode, surely. Come on. Anyway, there's a lot of our production notes that go into this, isn't there, when we're talking? It's like you're tuning in to listen to a murder mystery podcast, but we're going to talk about editing the podcast. Jesus Christ.
I'm meta. Gotta cut some of this.
Right. It's not being cut, I'm telling you. We'll argue about it, and people will be like, yeah, you should have definitely cut that out, mate. What stood out to me when we met the investigators, or not the investigators, the lead investigator, I can't remember what they call Palm. She's obviously a detective of some sort, high up in the police, and then she's got 2 assistants. But the fact that they're pretty harsh. When you address us, you call us sir, you call these guys sir and me mom. And then when they walk into the police HQ and they're like, oh, you must stand to attention and all this sort of thing.
Yeah, but
Come on.
I wrote that down because they say, oh, you must stand. They've just walked in a door behind them. They don't know who's just walked in.
Yeah.
Could be anybody.
If the door's open, you stand up. Oh, it's just someone delivering a bread roll.
Yeah.
Like for lunch. I don't know why I got bread roll in my head. I was watching them Battle Royale earlier, and they get like bread rolls and water as their lunch. I'm thinking, come on. It's not quite cold cuts, is it? But I'd normally cut that as well. There's a little Battle Royale reference in there for you now, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, you get it all from us. Anyway, is there anything else that you want to say about these guys from the police? I think they're pretty competent. They don't seem as cool as Gary Fredo, but also they don't seem quite as obnoxious as Chief Bob Taylor. For those of you who are listening for the first time, go back to our old episodes. You need to meet those guys because Gary Fredo is somewhat of a legend and Bob Taylor is somewhat of a... I would normally put an expletive beep in there. I'm just not going to say it. I didn't like Chief Bob that much. Forgive me. Any more to say on the investigator or the police before we move on to the contestants?
No, that's fine. Carry on. Like, if you see my notes, they're just all over the place. Like, probably later I'll come back to something.
Yeah. We can do. The contestants. Then we've got 4 sets of contestants. Their names, and I've written them on various pages. So first we meet Andrew and Nick, and Andrew is very much, oh, my dad's a detective. And his dad was a detective. And
I'm a failure.
I think they're brother-in-laws. We've got Dot and Rox, and for me, they steal the show. And I get it's all down to the editing. It all depends on who they put into the mix and who they show more and how they cut it. But Dot and Rox are just incredible. They say it as it is. They don't really care. They swear as much as us. I think they're probably the equivalent of us. If we were on it, you'd take them out and put us in.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are we watching the same bloody show?
I just mean for, no, just being open and honest. Don't get me wrong. What I did find hilarious with Dot and Rox was when one of them was saying, did you see the metallic fingerprints on the wall?
Mate, come on. I wrote that down and then put a facepalm emoji next to it.
It was so good. But no, they claim to be a nosy pair. But I really quite like them, to be honest. We next meet, and I've written it down, they're like the older women, because to be fair, I felt a little bit bad saying that about them initially, and then they started talking about Miss Marple, who's like 85, I think one of them says. So Caroline and Chrissy. We don't see much of them in this episode, and I think that's because their time will come later in the series, meaning I don't think that they're going to be the first to be voted out. because otherwise we'd have seen them more, I think, in this first episode.
Yeah.
And then finally, we don't actually get introduced to them for quite a while, are Sarah and Richmond. And Richmond dresses immaculately. Oh, I mean, that's how, if someone's coming around to investigate my murder, let it be Richmond in his suit and his tweed jacket and everything else.
Basil the Great Mouse Detective hat.
Yes, perfect. I mean, he is dressed for the part. I think he looks fantastic. In fact, that's probably what he did. And now I can see Basil the Great Mouse Detective in all his glory. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw him with his hat on.
I think he looks dapper. And to be fair, they had a great episode. I thought they did really well.
Yeah.
So that's all the sort of formalities out the way. I've got a lot of things I want to go through at the end. There are common questions that I think we need to talk about at the end of each episode, like who the killer is, who we think is going to go first, who's going to win, etc., etc. But I think now it's just almost talk through and see if there's anything that we picked up that, you know, perhaps. Well, I think first of all, there's a lot to say about the show itself and how it's constructed. The voiceover at the start, for example,
being Charly Hendricks.
Not
a fan.
See, conflicted. Here's that word again, because I hated the voiceover in the murder game. It did not need it. I absolutely hated it. However, had that voiceover been of the victim, I'm a little more forgiving. I do prefer that to it being.
Yeah, but I tell you what contradicts that for me is the flashback. So you can't have flashbacks and then the narrator being.
No, and you know what? You
from beyond the grave. It's not like it's talking in the past tense.
Yeah, that's true.
She talks like she's watching them investigate it. Yeah,
it should have been that opening, and that's the end of it. She should have narrated that start bit, and that body in the bag is me, and that should have been the end of her voiceover, and the rest of it we could have probably picked up. It's almost dumbed down quite a lot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, I'm no longer conflicted. I'm in Camp Jason. I agree entirely.
And then I've just got bullet points of random stuff now. So if you want any sort of structure, it's got to come from you.
So there wasn't really. Obviously, it's broadcast on UK TV over an hour, and it lasts about 53 minutes or something. So there's breaks in between, or maybe 50 minutes. So there's breaks in between. So there are 4 parts. So that's how I've tried to stage my parts, because you know, they don't go down tracks. That's something that's noticeable. It's very different to Murder in Small Town X and the Murder Game, because you don't have these tracks. They almost just follow it fairly linear, don't they? And they say, okay, this is the next thing we need to do. And then the next episode, we're going to interrogate these people. And then we're going to go and apply for a warrant. And it's really linear. Now, it's easier for us to structure it, like to talk about it, because it follows that flow. But with these episodes, and because we've only seen 1 episode so far, and the fact that we're not editing that much, I don't need, and everybody who's listening, again, apart from Stallard, will be watching. I don't want to go into, first they were in the victim's house, then they were in the police station, and then they did this, and then they did that. So this will evolve over time. By episode 6, which will be the final episode, we'll probably get our flow and be like, right, now we're going to talk about this element. But I think just literally flick through. And
How did you feel then? How did you feel that? I mean, again, I didn't like it. Standard. How did you feel about the fact that they're all in separate investigative units?
No, I like it
because it's a game, but they're trying to immerse themselves in this village. Yet they're all investigating separately. It's kind of like, no, you need to be, and what made the other shows so good was that sharing of information.
Yeah, what do you share and what do you withhold?
Yeah, exactly.
I think this is very much. The others were in between, weren't they? They were half drama and half reality, with a little bit of horror sprinkled on. Whereas this is zero horror. There's no scary bits to this. You're not on the edge of your seat or anything like that. And it's heavily weighted towards the drama and the reality bit, as in there's no vote out other than Palm. She's going to pick people to leave because of their poor investigation skills. There's no, like you say, there's no sharing or withholding of information. It makes it better in terms of the story feels a bit more. It feels more like an Inspector Morse episode than it does like an episode of Big Brother, for example. But it doesn't really get the balance right, in my opinion. I would rather see that cutthroat, or that
Someone's not pulling their weight.
exactly. It gave us more to
Missing
talk about,
clues.
without a doubt.
Who do you like? A leader? Who do you send to interrogate certain people?
But I think it also look. It's Ian Rankin. We need to mention that Ian Rankin wrote this, and he's a massive, massive author. And
He's quite tall, is he?
yeah, he's massive. Jesus Christ. So what do I say? Best selling, multi-platinum award winning. I don't know if you get platinum awards in books, but he's definitely a well-known crime writer, and I fully respect the storyline. Even at the end of this one, where we find out there's this love triangle going on, and we didn't quite know that there was, a marriage between two of the, or two of the. I've lost the word completely. Two of the, what are the villagers? Yeah, what are they called? The not victims. They're the fuck is the word? Suspects. Thank you. Complete mind blank.
Do you know? I'm now glad we didn't get on it.
Can you imagine? So two of the suspects. Jesus, the word just left my mind completely. Two of the suspects were married. And then we get the twist at the end with the pregnancy, with the lesbian kiss and everything else. You think, yes, this is getting really, there's going to be things that start to. You didn't see that until the last 5 minutes, and the first sort of the build up to that was like,
again, it's the way the information's given to the investigators. Obviously, they've seen the photos of the lady that works in the post office, and there's an assumption there was a lesbian relationship going on, and then they find out on the post-mortem that she was pregnant. Yet as the audience, we see all that in front of us, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like in if this is such a thing, then the audience needs to be detectives, and we're not given that because we're given so much more.
And going back to what you're saying about sharing information, is that they all find different bits. So we only see one couple go and interview Hamish, for example. We only see one couple go to the shop. Do they all do that? Or do they share information? Do they go and look at each other's boards? We just don't know, do we?
Exactly, yeah.
And there needs to be more of that, definitely. Are
we just going to go into random stuff now?
Yeah, look, I think so, because there's no real structure. Look, I think we've already mentioned the voiceover and the fact that they're not sharing information. We very much compared it to Murder in Small Town X and Murder Game. I want to be terrified. I want them to be terrified. I want them to be like, there's a risk that you guys are going to die or something like that.
Because you're getting too close to the truth.
Yeah. There needs to be threat.
Yeah.
Threat level like midnight.
Well played. Eagle eyes. Yeah. First off, this Charly Hendricks is quite young.
Yeah.
Who writes in all capitals in their phone? Kerry. Do you do that? Doesn't that just autocorrect?
No.
Like,
if I see all capitals, I hate it.
So first off, she had all capitals, and then when she flicked back to the home screen, half the apps are still installing.
That is eagle eyes, because I didn't notice that. Yeah. What I did notice, and this isn't eagle eyes because this was the most blatant thing, it's 2021, for goodness sake. Why are you using a dictaphone? And I'm going to ask you, because you know what's coming, don't you? And you've got to say yes. Please say yes. Have you? This is a flashback for us to like Murder Game episode 3 or something, but have you ever used a dictaphone?
Yes.
That's funny, because usually I use my finger. I honestly, the smile on my face when I saw that in her hand, I was just like, yes. It just brings back so many memories of when I got you with the dictaphone joke. But yeah, it's 2021. Why have you still got that?
Yeah.
All right. she's driving a fairly expensive VW camper. Those things don't come cheap. And yet she can't afford carpet. Because initially I wrote, someone's earning because she's driving that VW camper. And then they went to her house and I'm like...
It's not her house, is it?
True, she's renting off the...
She's renting. I did see, though, they did mention the bread at one point. If you look at the bread, it's like they've gone up to the loaf and thought, I just want the middle bit.
I'm going to cut it in half.
Have you seen that? Yeah. It's like the end, like...
Is that a done thing? Is that a done thing?
It's like proper in the middle.
Perhaps she was going to freeze half, but then she got caught out.
And got murdered.
Oh, that's not true, actually, because she got murdered when the tea was spilt, which I tweeted about earlier, actually, in that I think if you spill a decent cup of tea, you probably deserve to be murdered anyway.
I've got it down here. There's one of them, when they're, obviously, they get the overalls on, don't they, to go into the house.
Yeah.
And a lot of them step in that blood, which is absolutely brilliant. Because you can just imagine being one of the coppers, or even the cameraman just watching it, being like, oh, there's one lot, there's two. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely comical.
I think they probably all did it, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who it is, but one of them's got like proper steamed up glasses, because she's got her glasses on, her mask.
Oh, with the mask and
she cannot see. She literally cannot see. There's no way she's getting any evidence in that.
Yeah, when she's sharing the information later in the day, she's like, oh, what do you think the smoke machine was for? Do you think she was having like a disco before she died? Yeah. Why was it so foggy? It's because it was in Scotland and that's the weather.
And there's one thing, obviously, I'm not sure if you tweeted this or you texted me it during the time, but absolute piss take of, what is the piss take of the show?
Oh, now you're asking.
I'm going to tell you.
Go on.
Hiding a fucking diary in a hot water bottle.
Come on.
And it's the way they said, oh, you didn't do your job properly. What, by finding a fucking book in hot water bottle? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I also didn't feel the bottom of her pillow to see if there was like £1 million in there, or open her socks or anything. Yeah, come on. That's like saying, oh, if you'd have seen this secret panel in the bottom of a door, there's a map to like some treasure on the island. Yeah. Fuck off. No, that did it for me. I was like, nah, not having that.
Because it doesn't make sense. If
she'd been burnt, like, if she'd been scolded before I'd expect them to interact with a hot water bottle.
Yeah.
Or there was a stab, like the knife had gone through the hot water bottle or something. Yeah, that's evident. That's fine. Take a look at it.
You're not picking it up and you're thinking, oh, it feels like a book in there.
But also...
How'd you get a book out of a fucking hot water bottle? Like, it needs to be like a scroll. It's a really shit... Like...
I don't think it was in the bottle itself. It was in between the bottle and the cover.
Fuck.
It's just rolled up really tightly.
Mate, I'm all in with my hiding place. I was thinking, like, surely she can't even use it now. Like,
maybe she didn't use it as a hot water bottle, just as a diary cover.
Yeah, it's
all the secret.
Yeah.
If you'd have looked, actually, if you'd have opened her fridge, yeah, that's just a bookshelf. So just everything's disguised. The bread, that's why the bread was cut in half, because that's where she kept her wallet.
That's just, bookends. No, it did really piss me off.
No, because her books are in everything, mate. Hot water bottle covers.
Did you see the and I was going to text you just to piss you off, really. When who were they interviewing? When she was like, oh, come upstairs. I was like, bloody hell, she's a bit keen, isn't she? He literally just stepped through. Do you want to come upstairs and make yourself more comfortable?
Didn't she say, come upstairs and make yourself more comfortable? Yeah.
I was like, bloody hell.
Yeah, someone's earning. They got a snooker table in there. How'd you get that up there?
But also, there's like half a kitchen in there. Because she goes, oh, I'm just coming to get some water. Dodgy.
Yeah, you got a kitchen elsewhere, surely, somewhere else in the house.
Yeah, and she's also got a giant swan. Did you see that? There's a giant swan behind her.
You know what? I didn't note it down, but I seem to recall. Yeah.
And I can't remember his second name. His name's Freddie, isn't it?
Freddie, yeah, Freddie the Glaswegian.
How he come up the stairs just holding a wine bottle? Hello, it's like
smooth.
It's like, who are you? And he looked drunk. Yet when he goes in, he's sober again.
Playing snooker again. Yeah, he's fine. Although the balls are all over the place, he's probably pissed. Just smashing them about a bit.
Yeah. And obviously he makes. Do we see it in a flashback when he makes a call to London?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, but how do you know it's London? Or let's have an office with
This-
a perfect view
of the London Eye.
Yeah. You know that stuff annoys me.
Yeah. Well, it's that classic when you answer the phone and say, "Oh, my brother's calling." You wouldn't fucking say that.
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, bro.
Yeah, where's Freddie calling? Oh, must be London. Fucking hell.
Oh dear. What I do call into question is that there are two main motives, aren't there, for the murder that we know of so far. We know that she took a pregnancy test on the day of her murder, so she knew she was pregnant, and we know that could be a motive. Could it be the father of the child? Could it be someone that doesn't want her to have the baby, or she's threatening to get rid of the baby and they don't want her to, or whatever? There's also this talk of an eco spa. Now, she's meant to be like an eco warrior. She's got the badges, she's got the posters, she's keen to,
Get involved.
Yeah.
Overstepping the mark, some might say. Especially the murderer.
Yeah.
She hasn't been there long, has she?
But an eco spa sounds pretty good to me. Like,
but eco means surely that it's
good for the environment and stuff,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So that to me sounds like a positive. And also surely an increase in tourism
Revenue. Yeah.
increases revenue on the island and everything.
Yeah, because they say it's quite a sleepy town and there's like one post office or one shop. And when those two guys go and interview her, like she says, "Oh, I've got so many orders coming in." To who? For who?
Freddie wants some more wine.
Yeah, hello.
Freddie's ordering wine and snooker chalk. That's all he's getting delivered to his house.
She's got so many orders.
Maybe she's conflicted though. Jean, isn't it? Jean is the post office woman.
Yeah, I'm all with names, aren't I?
She's and me. That's but I think she's conflicted because in one sense she wants all the people to come to the island and buy stuff from her one and only shop.
Post office.
Alternatively, right, if it is a spa, what if it's not actually like a Therme spa and it's a spa shop?
Eco spa. Yeah.
Maybe that's the twist. Ian Rankin twist, mate. Got it.
Just put her out of business straight away.
Oh, did we not make that clear to investigators? When we were saying spa, we didn't mean SPA. We meant with the R on the end. It's like a convenience store, but eco-friendly products.
My voice like, oh, so who's Basil's wife? Or a fiance?
I don't think Basil's actually one of the characters. Do you? Oh, as in the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry.
What's his name? Is his name Brian?
His name's Richmond.
Oh,
like the sausage.
Brian then. Okay.
He's Richmond, like the sausage. So next week you'll be like, oh, Walls. Remember Walls?
Okay.
No, Richmond and Sarah.
So she pronounced Hamish's name very funny.
Hamish.
What's his name? Hamish.
Yeah, he's a bit like Ham. Like Hamish. He's like,
yeah,
he's just a bit hammy.
But she did criminology, and criminology.
She wanted to, and then ended up doing.
I thought she did
HR and tourism or something.
I thought she did it, but then went into an HR job.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. Yeah, she studied it, but then yeah. I think they're good. I think they're really good so far.
Yeah, definitely.
Also,
what's the two guys' names?
I do have to keep flicking back because I don't know them intimately yet. I will do by episode 3. Andrew and Nick.
Oh, Andrew and Nick. It's funny when they're getting interviewed. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're very, very competitive. We play rounders." I was thinking, yeah, maybe don't start with that. Like you mentioned other sports.
I'm literally gonna die. I was just taking a swig of my drink.
Did you pick that up as well?
No.
He's like, "Oh, we're very competitive. We play rounders." And then they look. I swear they look at each other. Maybe I'm just imagining that. And he's like, "Yeah, football, rugby, and all the other best sports."
Yeah, sports. We like sports, man. Yeah. Sports. Go sports.
Go soccer. I do make me laugh.
Oh dear. Blimey, yeah, we're running out of things to say. No, we're not. The clue. Oh, go on.
Oh no, because I just talk nonsense. Where you actually talk about stuff related to the TV show.
I just quite like the clue with the map with all the names on and all like it's done in different coloured pens. Like that's conveniently placed, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's good.
Not like the diary inside the hot water bottle.
Yeah, but imagine they hadn't found that. I've
literally
literally got.
Right, you say right. I feel stupid for thinking because I'll hold my hand up. I thought it was in the hot water bowl, like inside the hot water bowl.
Yeah.
Like to the point where she cannot have a hot bed because her diary's going to get wet. But surely that's a testament to the fact if we're on this show, flipping beds, like I'm going in there and I'm just finding any old shit.
Oh, we treat it like that. What was that? It wasn't Funhouse. What was the Finders Keepers
with Neil Buchanan?
Yeah, well, I'd be like that.
Was it Neil Buchanan?
Yeah, no, definitely was. Definitely.
Yeah, it'd be like that, but with bodysuits on.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh, wear your masks to prevent cross contamination." No, that's just for COVID because you filmed during a pandemic.
Yeah. What was that copper saying about like he said something about Rain Man? He goes, "You got to write everything down."
That was so weird, man. I was like, yeah, you got to write everything down. You won't be able to remember it. If you can, you're Rain Man. All right.
You don't say that, do you?
No, is that not like a bit like insensitive?
Well, I'm not sure. I just think generally, if you're trying to make a point, you just make the point. You don't contradict the point you just made. You know, got to write everything down. So write it down. You know, not unless you can remember it. I don't. It just seemed really. It's like the camera's on him, and he's like, "I've got to keep talking. I've got to keep talking. Say something else."
It makes me wonder, like with the actors. I think the actors are competent in this series. I think they're good. Like we did have a. I think the acting in all the shows that we've seen has been pretty good, but there were one or two shady characters, weren't there?
Do you think we've seen the killer? Because I have an idea who the killer is of someone we've seen.
Yeah, I've got a guess. I've got an idea of who we've seen, but I think there might be several more people that we're going to meet. Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say several more. Like it was several killers.
Yeah, she's got 4 stab wounds and a bit like Murder on the Orient Express. Oh, spoiler alert! In case anyone's not read the 1923 Agatha Christie novel,
someone called Hamish, which I know we're all over the place. He's great.
Yeah, I mean, he's a bit shady because he's got a beard. Yeah, bearded people, mate.
Right, we'll get back. We'll get to the killers at the end, but it's not him. It's not him. I can tell you now, it's not him. Unless he's got some sort of knife under that hat that he always wears. Yeah,
that's his equivalent hot water bottle. They've all got something they're hiding. That snooker cue gun. That swan, mate. That swan.
Yeah. Well, you say that swan. There's a
bowling
peacock.
Ball inside it.
There's a peacock that looked pretty sus.
Yeah, outside around. Police HQ.
Yeah, trying to spy, wasn't he?
Definitely. With all those eyes.
Yeah. So obviously, you sent me the video of
Chief Bob.
Was it accept nothing, challenge everything?
I didn't write it down, but I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play it into my microphone and see if it works. It won't now I've done this, but it was absolutely fantastic. Right, let's go back to the start. Ready?
You can get cease and desist.
Accept nothing, challenge and check everything that you're told.
Accept nothing, challenge and.
I don't know. See, it's too long.
It is.
It should be. Let's just pretend she said accept nothing, challenge everything. It sounds a lot better.
Yeah, that would have been way better. But then that would have been, hang on a minute, that's a pure copy. Chief Bob, probably copyrighted it. He'd be phoning her, like threatening her, like he did that nursing home that he was in the news for.
John Cena.
So we do meet. Look, let's. All right. I mean, because we are all over the place. Let's be honest. Because this is mad. This is not something that we're used to, like talking immediately after an episode. But
another thing then.
All right.
Let me have one more.
Yeah, of course you can. You can have as many as you want. We got all night.
So the 2 guys went to the post office.
Yes, to speak to Jean.
See, this is why you're here to remember names. And the copper goes, "I'll just be in the background."
Yeah.
Nah. I hate that. Again, it's like it's not Apprentice, mate.
I was going to say he's like Karen on The Apprentice, like taking notes.
Yeah, no. If you're part of the investigation, like that's what he should do.
And then also he sort of fed back immediately. They stepped out of the post office, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going to tell you what you did wrong there. Closed questions, too many closed questions. You were bombarding her. You didn't follow her." It's like, wait to the boardroom. That should be at the end of the episode where we're kicking you off. Leave some anticipation. They know that they fucked up now.
But it was like bam, 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 one to the other. And I was thinking, mate, they were doing good cop, bad cop. Like that's standard police stuff. You should know that. That's what they should have said to him.
Yeah.
Hello.
Come on, mate.
You should be doing that.
I've seen cop movies.
I've been here a day, mate, and I've been doing good cop, bad cop. Like, if anything, you should be learning from us.
So there are a few, like when they go and meet Jean, and obviously Hamish is met by a couple of the others. We also meet Alicia, I think her name is. She's the one that was driving the car. So when the person Freddie's living with, I don't know if it's his mistress or whatnot. Sorry, I'm wrong there.
Son? Is that her son then?
Who's what?
Which is the one that was driving the Jeep?
Oh no. Sorry, that's Ishbel. So yeah, the one. Sorry, I'm getting confused now. So the woman that rang 999, the one that had the trainers on, and she was like,
so that's Swan Lady.
And those trainers are going to come back because they're bright as fuck, and there was a trainer mark on the floor in the house that someone had spun on the toe or the heel. So that's going to come into it, I'm sure. She is called, I think, Alicia, I think her name is. She went down and waved and flagged down. I got it down as Ishbel. I'm sure it says Ishbel. It might just be her accent and she's saying Isabel, but I haven't got the time now to flick to my phone and have a look what it says. So I'm going to go with Ishbel for now. And I might be.
Also, I'm not going to offend anyone, but that doesn't sound like a real name.
Well,
so let's just run with that. No, don't look. Okay, we're going for whatever you're saying.
Well, I mean, I can't. It's literally on my screen now. If you want me to.
No, I don't want you to look. Go with the name that you just said, because it's not a real name.
It's Ishbel. It literally is Ishbel, right? I did
tweet in if your name is Ishbel.
Yeah,
because no one will.
Yeah, of all our 133 followers, of which we know fairly well the names of, just tweet us if your name is Ishbel.
But also, at this point, it's Ian Rankin wrote so many books. He's like, I've run out of names.
Yeah.
I've just ran out of names.
Well, maybe the ish is like from the ham of the Amish. Like he's now got Hamish, and he's like ish. I've got nothing. Maybe we could call a bell. No, I can't call a bell.
And they
ish.
And he just goes off the back of every other person's name.
Oh my god! Yes,
like Charly Hendricks, Martin,
Ricky Martin. Well, like someone Bellingham, and then Bellingham is the ham from Bellingham is the ham of Hamish, and then the ish is Ishbel. We're linking it all together. So there was me calling her Alicia because that's what they were calling her, but it's actually spelled Alicia. So I don't even know what to think anymore.
So she's got the young lad then. Is that her son then? Who was like sneakily having some Cocoa Pops and putting the bowl in the sink very, very slowly.
Well, this was it. Logan, early 20s, an islander born and bred, collects lobsters. I don't know if that's his hobby or his job.
Well, he's an islander, so
I think he must be. Yeah, son and mother are close, so he must be Mother Ishbel. Yeah. That's it.
Okay.
He's sus, man. He is sus.
He's not sus. He's not sus.
He's wearing it. Listen to me.
He'll be the love affair of
Hamish.
No. The Swan woman.
Oh, snap.
The same sort of age.
Alicia.
Yeah, and she's there to fuck shit up, isn't she? She's there to convince the islanders to sell
the land. Yeah.
But she's fell in love with him. He loves the island. Blah blah blah. She's conflicted now. Okay, that's why Freddie's gone up there. So it's nothing to do with that, I don't think. And that's a red herring all day.
Okay.
That's what I'm going for anyway.
No. I'm hearing you.
There will be something that you think, oh, it is them, but it won't be them.
We also met Tony Slade, owner of the pub, the landlord of the manse.
He seems a bit sus.
He says at one point, to Islanders. And I was convinced he said Thailanders. So I was thinking, this is going. We got London, we got Thailand. Where is this fucking going? No, he said to Islanders.
Okay.
I should have had subtitles on.
That's a bit Wicker Man, that, isn't it? It's a bit Hot Fuzz.
Yeah.
Right. So I think his wife is sus.
I don't even know if she's going to be Oh, no, she is. Yep. We didn't meet her enough. Sonia, primary school teacher. Her parents settled there from coming over from Nigeria when she was born. Mm-hmm. Sonia met Tony in Glasgow, where she did her teacher training.
Yeah.
Ooh.
She's the one for me.
Oh, but then, yeah, perhaps she can see how much it's going to change her and Tony's life.
Tony's not happy about it. He's a bit like, he wants to stay. I don't know. I
like that, though. I do like that theory.
Because she was very quick to answer some of the questions that were posed to Tony. So I think that's, anyway, so I've spoiled that. That's who I think is the killer. So
we'll get to that in the end, because, yeah, I'm conflicted.
That's my word. Can't do that.
I keep stealing it.
Do you know when I'm going to get this wrong now. Is it Dot and Rocks?
Yeah, no. Dot and Rocks. Yeah.
Okay, you know Dot and Rocks.
I think Rocks is like Roxy or Roxanne rather than the stones that are bigger.
So when Dot and Rocks went to talk to Hamish, I'm going to keep calling him Hamish.
Yeah. That's fine. That's the canon now.
He said he's doing this house up. Then they show the house. Hasn't even got fucking walls, mate. And you're out there like de-weeding the garden.
Yeah, I mean priorities, right?
Priorities.
Yeah.
How long are you going to be there if you're not even?
Are you waiting for the grass to grow before you?
I think that's it really.
So I've put this is 6 episodes long, so I think there's quite a lot that's going to change between now and, you know, we've only scratched the surface, haven't we?
We'll go down a few like storylines that will end in nothing, and it'll just be like village gossip stuff.
Yeah,
100%. That youngster is having something with Alicia.
Yeah,
and that'll be one of them. And they'll be, why would they kill her? And then they wouldn't. It's not Freddie.
No, Freddie's too obvious. Alicia's too obvious.
Alicia's too obvious. Freddie's too obvious.
What? Let's just go back though.
Hamish. It's definitely not Hamish, because Hamish is the quiet. Because it'll be like, oh, he got jealous of his lesbian relationship with his ex-wife. So that's a no. There's
definitely something in it where she said, "What the fuck are you doing in my house?" So Charlie said that to the killer. Mm-hmm. But then the investigators aren't going to see that.
Also, it was the back door as well, wasn't it?
What, that they came through rather than?
Yeah, I'm sure it's the back door.
Okay.
Because it come through the kitchen. They come through the kitchen and didn't come through the hallway.
Is that the same door where the woman in the trainers came out at the start? Alicia came out at the start.
Could be, but who has keys to that place?
Tony and Sonia. Oh. Who would know that place? Like, yeah, fairly well.
Yeah.
It's a good call, mate. It's a good call. We got the post-mortem results. We found out that she was pregnant, so that was a bit of a twist at the end of this episode.
Who baby's that in?
Well, yeah, it's mine, because just before the episode, just before the 6 weeks, just before she moved to the island, she came round for a quick chat. Yeah. I just had to look at her, that potent. Fuck's sake. Cut. We can't cut. Oh my God. What am I saying? I hope my wife doesn't.
You can cut.
What I did like, actually, was the comments around Hamish and Jean, where they're married. And Hamish is like, yeah, we're fine. And Jean's like, no, it's broken down. That's like our relationship.
Me and yours?
Yeah, me and you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, we're great. And Jason's like, for fuck's sake, do I have to do another talk with him?
Yeah. It's like, we need to do another podcast. Oh, fuck's sake, do we?
Do I have to spend another hour with you chatting shit? What I am going to do, and this is like quite the thing, this is new for us. I was tweeting during the episode, and I was getting into people's tweets, and other people were tweeting us. Now, firstly, the shirt union run by your mates, is it
Go to
Tom and Andy
at the shirt union.
at the so
If you're into football shirts, at the shirt union.
get on it. I tweeted a picture of that car that got spray painted, which says "Go back to England, bitch" or something along those lines, and they've put something a little bit Barcelona third shirt about this. And actually, if you look at the Barcelona third shirt, it's very much
What it says, "Go back to England, bitch."
yeah, instead of like now they got rid of Messi, that's what they're putting on their best selling shirts. And then he went to Paris. So someone said, is it just me, or in the credits did it say Charlie's dad? Yeah, I don't think we've seen him yet. But then someone else has said, was he the voice on the dictaphone at the start of the episode? I wasn't really paying attention to the dictaphone because I was laughing too much at the joke about using a dictaphone. So who was that? Was that Charlie's dad, or was that I thought it might have been Charlie's kid's dad or something like that?
Yeah, I feel like it was Charlie's kid. Yeah, like you say, Matt, I wasn't really paying much attention.
But a lot of people are saying, yeah, I just think it's from the cassette tape. I've sort of put, how do people find it? So Scott, who we've been talking a lot to, Scott recently, he's put, has me intrigued. I think it's going to be taking itself a lot more serious than previous stuff that you've covered, like the use of the victim providing the voiceover. Shame there doesn't seem to be much interaction between the duos, but 100% looking forward to more. And that's what we've called upon, is that there's no engagement between the investigators. It's almost like they're doing 4 separate investigations.
Yeah, and you sort of want, I feel like they need to mingle and share information, because when people go, there's some emotion there that people, they've got to know like for 2 days.
I know what you mean.
Otherwise, you just won't care. You'd be like, yeah, get off. I'm like one step closer to 50 grand.
I've got Bobby Reed, someone saying absolutely loved it, and then he's atted himself. Fair play.
Just to remind himself.
Tim Bowyer has put, it fell short, lacked the suspense and tension that required to really suck me in. The flashbacks, don't laugh at that. I said suck me in, nothing else, you dirty bastard. It fell short, lacked the suspense and tension required to really suck me in. The flashback, I can't get past it. Right, ignore that. It's just Jace being a child. The flashbacks broke immersion and dropping key evidence in their laps hopefully won't happen again. Potential though, hopefully episode 2 smooths some of the rougher edges and it builds and builds. Couldn't agree more. Spot on. And there's me saying we got a load of interactions. That's probably about it. Most people just liked it. Oh no, I'm gonna make some up. I'm gonna make some up. We also got we got someone here, someone called Palm Sandu, saying I really liked the lead investigator. I've got someone here. I've got someone calling himself Macca. He's put, that's my real name. Don't take the piss. I've also got the CEO of Barcelona. Quick, do a Google, see who that is. I've got the chief exec of Barcelona here saying, someone's finally taken our third kit seriously. Not all of these tweets are true, just in case you're wondering. So that we're getting to the point where we're going to be up to an hour soon, and I want raw footage. I don't want to do any editing tonight. I just want to upload it before midnight and be done. Thank you very much. Good night. I do care about our listeners. I do care about the show, and I do care about Jam Presents very much. But also, I do value my sleep.
Give a fuck.
No, I just want to go to bed.
There's one thing. We got a good thing going here, like, right?
Yeah.
I make notes on my phone of stuff I do in the background. You do lots of notes and edit the podcast, and I feel like you're letting yourself down.
What? And I'm not putting enough effort into editing it this time.
Yeah, I think you're not really.
Oh, so what you're saying is you've captured all 20 bullet points that you normally capture, but I'm missing the mark because I'm not spending 5 hours editing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
You let yourself down. You let the listeners down.
Sorry, guys. So, this is the end, right? First things first. There are a few questions that I'm going to ask you. We need to converse more, discourse more, whatever the word is. We need to discuss, right? Firstly, what's the Rankin twist, other than the special move I perform on myself when my wife's at work? I've been waiting to say that for a while, but there's always a twist to Ian Rankin stories, apparently. And I say apparently because I own about 400 books. I've read about 4, 2 of which are like Where's Wally books, so I don't know if they count. But
Here's the twist.
go on.
The murderer is Ian Rankin.
He's introduced in like episode 6.
Or it's like an inside job, and it's Parm.
Oh, can you imagine? And that's why she's never about. It's always the two. It's always Simon and Macca. She's the Alan Sugar, isn't she? And they're the Nick and Karen. It's not Nick anymore. It's the other chap. I can't remember his name.
Just call him Nick. Just call him,
Yeah, but
call him Macca. Just call him.
So, yeah, for me, I think there's going to be twists in every episode. Like towards the end, we'll find out, oh, shit, she was pregnant. And also, these guys are married, but she was in a lesbian relationship. So I think there are going to be things like that. I would love it if there is some sort of corruption in the police as well. And they're sort of leading them down the wrong path or something like that.
They would never do that.
No, it won't happen. I would love it, but it won't happen. Okay, next question. You ready for this?
Born ready.
Could we have done any better than the current investigators?
I'm literally telling you who's killed her already. I'm not even on the fucking island.
So what you're saying is if it comes out that Sonia is the killer in the final episode, then we should have been on it.
Mm-hmm.
We'd be fighting now because I know you've said it's not Hamish. I'm suspicious of him. And I know you're saying it's not Logan. That boiler suit, mate, it screams to me.
What, serial killer?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that Friday the 13th, you know?
It is typical serial
Jason
killer
Voorhees, like, yeah.
Hannibal Lecter?
Yeah. Egon from the Ghostbusters. Oh, no, he just killed ghosts. Didn't even kill them. They were already dead.
Michael Myers?
Austin Powers. You knew that was coming. Groovy, baby. Just in case you don't know who Austin Powers is. So, of the contestants, which pair are going first?
Dot and Rocks.
Yeah, too easy to say Dot and Rocks, but they've been given so much airtime that I think it's going to be those guys.
Yeah.
Unless we don't see someone go out until episode 3 and we see our 2 elderly friends, Caroline and Chrissy, is it? I feel bad for not remembering the names. Yeah, Caroline and Chrissy. Unless they're shown a lot more in the next episode, then I think it will be Dot and Rocks.
I think it's like the structure. I know it's rambling now. It's the structure of it. Like you got the flashback, you got the narrating, you've got the internal,
so you're going back away from it.
You've got the internal interview, when they're talking to the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you've got the ones where they're interviewing people. It's like, I don't know.
And then back at Police HQ, and then I know.
You can't remember the names.
Well, they're not all introduced either, are they? It's not like, oh, this is such and such. It's very much they go and see them, and then later on in the episode, you find out their name. I guess you need the press pack. We need to be given the details that they are. Okay, who's going to win?
It's easy to say the 2 lads.
Yeah, I still don't think they will. I think it's Richmond and Sarah.
I'm going to probably say it's Richmond and Sarah. Although I do want the 2 old girls to give them a good one.
If I could pick a winner, then Dot and Rocks, just because they're hilarious. One of them says that they're going to lose bladder control when they're older and they can't make each other laugh anymore. It's brilliant. We've discussed to death who we think the killer is. I would love now it to be. I really just want it to be Sonia because I'm just going for the obvious. Whereas you're like, yeah, someone that was really quite. She took a back seat. She only said back seat, but 4 words or something.
Answered Tony's questions. She's got a key to the place. We know that they've been offered a lot of money. There's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. It probably won't be now, but for twists, you need what seems to be certainties. Yeah. So like Hamish getting mad about lesbian relationship is an easy kill. So it's not him.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
It's stuff like that. Freddie just talking to London, and then he's like one
No,
swipe
he's
and she's
far
gone.
too obvious. Far
Easy
too
kid.
obvious.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
And that's the path that we're being led down. I just think, mate, there's something suspicious about someone who collects lobsters.
it's just a normal hobby.
Yeah. And like, before we close, is there anything else? They did do Coming Up. I just thought, whatever.
Is that episode
No,
2?
That's
all
the
at
rest
minute.
of the series, isn't it?
Yeah. That's what I thought.
And they did that classic, oh, you're going to be going next. And then they show all 4 couples. And you're like, oh, one of them's crying.
And they're not crying about that. That'd be crying about something nice.
No. So, final curtain call. Is there anything else that you want to say before next week, or we just tweet about it tomorrow?
No, I think I'm all out, mate. Enjoyed it. I think I'm enjoying it because I'm talking about it.
Oh, look, if this was just a normal show and we weren't doing a podcast, then would I be getting on it at 9:30 next week, or would it just be in my record queue and I'd watch it at some point? Yeah, I'd probably just sit there for a while. But because we're obviously doing the podcast, it's more exciting that we'll be waiting for the episode to come. You know what I mean? For it to come round.
Yeah.
It would just gather dust on the hard drive. I don't think that's how hard drives work, but it would probably just fester there until I could get around to watching it if we weren't doing something about it. That said, like the tweet that came through earlier, I do have high hopes. I do want it to get better.
Yeah, I think it will. And
yeah,
like I said, we're not bitter at all. So,
but
it would have been better with us on there.
Yeah, infinitely, because we'd have been on there.
Then again, I wouldn't have trusted myself. I don't think. Like I said, maybe it's a good thing we weren't on there.
No, I think where we might have struggled somewhat is the questioning when they're like, I think we look with your.
But you would have had like been questioning, and we walked out, and I said, "Do you see that massive fucking wooden swan behind it?"
And you'd be like taking his snooker key and snap it in half just to check that there's nothing inside. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Well, there was a diary inside a hot water bottle earlier, rolled up like really small.
I'm trusting nothing.
You're peeling the baize off the snooker table, like ripping it off, like, smashing the balls up to check there's no cocaine inside them.
Yeah, I'm expecting nothing. Challenge everything.
Yeah, opening all the bags of crisps in the shop. What are you doing? I'm just checking for clues.
I'm checking for diaries.
Right, I'm calling it there.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening. I'm not going to do a fancy ending with music and all that sort of thing. We're going to be back.
Lazy, mate. You are. It's like, seriously.
It's like nearly midnight, man. We're going to be back next week, same time, I expect. Unless anything dreadful happens, you never know. We might get ambushed for protesting against an eco spa. Or Jason might get pregnant. Who knows? But thank you all for listening. Please, 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 if you're new to this, not listening to podcasts, that's a fairly ancient art nowadays. But if you're new to us, go back and listen to our other episodes. We promise there's a little bit more quality to them because we edit them a little bit better and we know what we're talking about. Whereas this is a bit off the cuff, last minute rush, but it's been fun.
Cool.
Right. See you next time.